Kathy Engelbert, in this long drawn-out article, goes on and gives herself credit for why the WNBA has finally entered some type of mainstream conversation.
The stats don't lie, but apparently WNBA commissioners do. While Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are pulling the league out of obscurity and into primetime superstardom, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is out here posing like she personally coached Clark to hit logo range threes. The nerve is insane. The delusion? Olympic level. And the credit grabbing? So shameless it could make Fortune 500 execs look humble.
The Indiana Fever's matchup on Friday versus the Sun drew 851,000 viewers, becoming the most viewed WNBA game on ION this season despite Caitlin Clark's absence.
Let's hit the facts that would make any mathematician weep tears of joy. The Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky showdown on May 17, 2025, pulled in 2.7 million viewers on ABC. That's not a stat. It's a seismic event, shaking TV ratings like an earthquake on the RTOR scale. The game even peaked at 3.1 million viewers, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. 25 years. That's older than some of the players themselves. And yet, here comes Engelbert, strutting around like she personally invented fire.
It seems like the Indiana Fever are still having big numbers, according to ION, even when Caitlin Clark is off the floor. And honestly, it looks like the trajectory of the viewership for the WNBA in its entirety is starting to go in the right direction. We're about to get into it, but before we do that, y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up for your boy.
But here's where it's juicier than a reality TV finale. This wasn't some random cosmic alignment of perfect timing and league-wide brilliance. Nope, this was the Caitlin Clark show, plain and simple. 21 of the 23 games that cracked 1 million viewers last season featured Clark and the Fever. Let that sink in. 21 out of 23. That's not luck. That's a full-blown phenomenon, with a name and address and jersey number 22.
Anyone who watches the WNBA can see that they do not want Caitlin Clark to succeed. They want the New York Liberty to be the team that is the face of the organization.
Caitlin Clark is essentially getting blackballed in the WNBA.
And she was a rookie. And it's infuriating. Right now, she's injured. If she's not playing, they're losing crazy amounts of money. And so it's crazy to me that the league itself and everyone involved at the higher ups would do these things to sabotage the Indiana.
Meanwhile, Engelbert is out here giving interviews like she masterminded some grand business strategy. She's talking about years of preparation and the league's huge business transformation. Business transformation, she says. The only transformation happening? Caitlin Clark turning empty arenas into sold-out spectacles, while Engelbert watches from the sidelines, clipboard in hand, pretending she had anything to do with it.
Build that confidence in a business model that's going to work and is sustainable, which is what I've been brought in to do. It's you see the benefits of that, the returns of that, and then you see an athlete, a generational athlete like Caitlin. I analogize it to the Tiger Woods effect in golf. Yeah. And just her followership and then the rivalry she came in with against Angel Reese and LSU, Iowa, and now Paige Becker's coming in from UConn off her championship. So, but we had great players for for a couple decades, but now I think with social media, with NIL, with them having brands when they come in and followership, and just the quality of the game, I can't say enough about that too.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. The contrast here is almost cartoonish. Caitlin Clark's preseason exhibition against Brazil in Iowa drew 1.3 million viewers, numbers only 2 NBA preseason games have hit since 2010. Meanwhile, other WNBA games barely scrape audiences big enough to fill a high school gym. Does Engelbert acknowledge this? Credit where it's due? Not a chance. She's busy talking about capital inflows and corporate partners stepping up, as if Fortune 500 companies suddenly developed a conscience for women's sports. No, they're chasing a marketing gold mine. They're investing in the Caitlin Clark experience, buying stock in a singular talent who can pack arenas and crash streaming servers like a magician pulling rabbits out of hats. The 2025 WNBA draft is another perfect example of this delusion. It drew 1.25 million viewers, a number that sounds solid, until you realize the 2024 draft, when Clark was selected, pulled in 2.45 million viewers. Nearly twice as high. And yet, you can bet Engelbert probably has that 2024 number framed on her office wall with a plaque that says, "My achievement."
But the face is who the people pick. It don't matter what stats or what you talking about. Most watched games since Caitlin Clark has entered the league. Most of the top 15 games is all because of Caitlin. All because of Caitlin. That's how you know who's the face. Who sells the most? Who jersey sells the most? Who is people talking about the most? That's how you find out who the face is, not who got the best numbers. That doesn't mean anything. When one person plays and ticket prices shoot up, and then when they don't play, ticket prices plummet. That's the fate.
Let's talk attendance, where Engelbert is chest thumping like a silverback who just discovered fire. Opening weekend 2025 saw arenas 89% full, averaging 8,487 fans per game, a 36.7% jump from the previous year. Impressive? On the surface. But the crown jewel was the Fever versus Sky matchup. While other games were celebrating stats like someone listing Microsoft Word as a technical skill on their resume, the Golden State Valkyries debut sold out Chase Center, all 18,064 seats. But let's be real, that's debut fever, not sustainable interest. Take Clark off the opposing roster for a few games, and attendance numbers make funeral parlors look like Taylor Swift concerts. And Engelbert? You know she'll claim that sellout too, as if her business acumen personally persuaded 18,000 people to buy tickets. What's truly enraging is how Engelbert stands by while the player driving her success gets bulldozed. Clark takes flagrant fouls from Angel Reese, faces hateful fan comments, and endures relentless scrutiny, all while carrying the league's marketing department on her shoulders. Meanwhile, Engelbert is probably in a boardroom pitching investors on how her four-pronged media strategy magically generated numbers that Clark produced just by existing on the court.
But Kathy Engelbert, in her naivete or in her delusion, she takes credit for it. Instead of saying it's because of Caitlin Clark, instead of saying it's because of the person from Iowa, instead of saying it was because of her, Kathy says, oh, it's all me. My strategy, my plan, my 3 pillars.
The commissioner talks about multi-dimensional stakeholder groups and managing billionaire owners, celebrity players, and network executives like she's conducting a symphony. But let's get real. Clark is the entire orchestra, the conductor, the venue, and the audience. Meanwhile, Engelbert is the person selling overpriced programs in the lobby, taking credit for the music. ESPN viewership jumped 170% to 1.2 million per game. Teams sold 400,000 tickets in a single month, and 21 games topped 1 million viewers, 18 of them featuring the Indiana Fever. 18 out of 21. If that doesn't scream Caitlin Clark effect, Engelbert may need a hearing test, along with a reality check. The WNBA's first capital raise hit $75 million with a $1 billion valuation. Engelbert calls it the largest ever capital raise for a women's sports property, acting like she negotiated it with the savvy of Warren Buffett. But here's the truth that would make a lie detector explode. Investors aren't betting on Engelbert's business model, they're betting on Caitlin Clark. Corporate sponsors, Nike, Clark's $28 million endorsement deal, and State Farm, have all tied their investments directly to her reach. One Fortune 500 exec admitted bluntly, "We're buying into the Caitlin Clark experience, not the WNBA's business model."
What if I told you a rookie could generate nearly $1 billion for an entire sports league? The answer? Caitlin Clark herself. Caitlin isn't just playing basketball. She's transforming the WNBA. In 2025 alone, she's projected to contribute nearly $1 billion to the league's economy, accounting for over a quarter of its total activity. The Indiana Fever's attendance has actually skyrocketed to an average of just over 17,000 fans per game, which is actually more than the average of the Indiana Pacers. Anytime Caitlin Clark is on TV, it's an absolute media sensation. Just one of her preseason games drew more than 1.3 million viewers. Merchandise sales have surged by 243%. And she just signed a $28 million deal with
Even Engelbert tacitly admitted the truth, saying Clark is the most popular athlete in America and a key driver of the league's 170% ESPN viewership increase. The upcoming media rights deal, reportedly worth $2.2 billion over 11 years, has Engelbert gushing about historic opportunities and significant steps forward. But let's be real, what's actually driving those negotiations? Network execs aren't drooling over Engelbert's spreadsheets. They're calculating how many Caitlin Clark games they can air and how much advertising revenue her magic on the hardwood can generate. Meanwhile, other WNBA players are struggling to fill arenas that look like abandoned shopping malls on Black Friday. Angel Reese's preseason game drew crowds so sparse you could hear every conversation from the nosebleeds. Ticket prices were lower than vending machine snacks, and still, fans stayed home. Does Engelbert acknowledge this massive disparity in drawing power? That her league has a superstar problem, with one player carrying everyone else's career? Absolutely not. Instead, she's talking about expanding to 16 teams, projecting 20, predicting one team will become a $1 billion franchise, and claiming the average team valuation will hit $500 million. Impressive, if you assume the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is somehow replicable across multiple markets, which, let's be honest, it's
markets.
We just had this record-breaking game between the Indiana Fever and the Brazilian national team, a preseason game that averaged 1.3 million viewers on ESPN. And then our draft was the second most viewed ever, the most viewed compared to MLB and NHL in their history. So we're seeing the returns of that investment in a big way, and the values of our teams going up. So that capital raise, when you saw the people that came and invested, I think gave confidence to all of our owners to invest in their teams, which is driving their team values up. So I think it's, a bit of a confidence builder. And, capital and valuation is all about confidence in the business and what you're building here.
The most infuriating part? Angelbert basking in reflected glory while failing to protect the very asset driving her success. Clark faces criticism, targeted physical play, and media scrutiny that would crush lesser mortals. All while Engelbert issues vague statements about looking into matters, instead of giving the superstar the protection she deserves. Angelbert credits the league's success to her four-pronged strategy: corporate partnerships, media diversification, expansion, and digital transformation. Sure, there are incremental gains, like the WNBA app's 390% download spike post-overhaul, but they pale in comparison to Clark's impact. The Golden State Valkyries 2025 expansion? Sold out once when Clark's Fever came to town. Engelbert's emphasis on lifestyle viewers and culture sports intersections? Follow. 72% of new fans say they tuned in primarily for Caitlin Clark. Clark is the engine. Engelbert is pretending the dashboard lights are her doing.